Hi! Coming from you from the worst camera in the world, because this will be a long, angry video of Episode 4, The Killer Within, on Season 3 of The Walking Dead. And I'm not gonna give you a run-through about everything that happened in the episode, like, and then this happened, and then this happened. No, I'm just gonna dive in, so spoiler alerts, I don't even care. This can be kind of broken up into 3 categories. The first one's probably gonna be about Carol, second one's about Lori, and the third, final, angry one is about D-Dog, because I'm really pissed. Okay, so Carol might have been killed off screen, which is extremely lazy, and I don't think it's likely, because that's sort of a drama bomb to kill her, and since she's been here from the beginning, you'd think you'd get more of a, at least die on screen. Christ. Like, what did I blink? Like, I didn't look away the whole time. I don't know. So I can't say too much about that because of the fact that I don't know if I believe it yet. So, Lori died. I know what you're all saying. Ding dong, the witch is dead. Alright, I did hate Lori. I didn't hate the way she was written, though, and that's important. The reason I dislike Lori is that I don't like holier-than-thou characters in a post-apocalyptic society. Lori's character kind of fights a lot against, like, the more man going back to its more primalness and the culture shift that would happen, and I don't like that because I like the way cultures change through time and through disasters, and that's kind of interesting to me, and so I don't like when characters try to fight that. I kind of like the fact that characters get from what we would consider demoralized, but from their perspective, survivalized. So, her disgust with, like, say, Carl's hyperviolence, really, Carl is just, he might have been born in their culture, but as Carl grows, you think Daryl's good at surviving. Oh, he won't have anything on Carl, because Carl had grown up his entire life in, a world with zombies. It's a huge culture shift, and when, something like the apocalypse happens, culture gets turned on its head. You get, different food, different religions, different government, different, music, everything would change. So, when she has moments with, Shane offers to teach Carl to shoot a gun, and she's like, no, I can't let you do that, absolutely not. And I'm like, yeah, alright, in our society, you would never let your son use a gun, but you're living in a society where guns are coming out of your ears. Guns are everywhere. People are tripping on guns. And, Carl, there's zombies everywhere. Carl needs to learn how to respect a weapon and use a weapon. You can't just sort of ignore that. You gotta kind of live with it. But I remember the moment in which my hate for Lori was solidified was, that episode in which they're going through the highway and they're picking up supplies, before they lose Sophia. And, Carol, she's flipping through a car and she notices a shirt. She holds it up like she's trying it on. And, Lori turns around and gives her this look, like, how dare you think of fashion at a time like this? She didn't say anything, but she gave her, like, a wicked bitch look. And, it's just like, we need clothes. Clothes protect our skin. And, her clothes probably smell like sweat and zombie and corpse. The bitch wants to change her shirt. Let the bitch change her shirt. It's not a big deal. You don't have to go all judgmental on her, okay? Everyone has to steal things. You're stealing food. That's the way this new world works now. You must steal. A lot of people hate her because they're like, oh, she's a slut, she's a slut, she's a slut. No, don't slut shame her, alright? Her relationship with Rick was probably rocky to begin with, and she thought he was dead, It's just, alright, life goes on, and she was in a vulnerable state. I don't even care if she had a crush on Shane. My main problem is that she's wishy-washy, she's holier than thou, and then she implies, like, kill Shane, except I'm gonna get mad at you when you do, and I don't know. But despite all that, I cried when she died. I was genuinely upset. I was like, oh, it's so sad. I'm wondering what kind of effect it will have on Maggie. Knowing their writing, it will have none. I'm wondering how long the baby will live. It's a girl. If they stay true to the comics, which I think I saw in a trailer, Herschel was like, she needs formula. Her name would be Judith if they stay to the comics. She will be a bad, alright, spoilers for the comics, she's probably not gonna live. But if she did live, a kid born in an environment like that would just thrive because kids can adapt so well. She'd be such a badass. Like, I don't know. It kind of makes me sad. But, okay. Now I get to do the subject I really want to do. T-Dog. Fuck you, AMC. Alright, I don't know if I've mentioned this. I probably haven't. I, just like yesterday, wrote an essay on WordPress in which I sort of reviewed the writing for each character. I think I called it what I want to say versus what I need to say. My section with T-Dog was the one I found myself getting the most passionate about, because when I was trying to write about T-Dog's character, I realized he has no personality traits. And that's kind of a big deal. Like, it's sad. Like, people like to make meme jokes about how, oh, T-Dog's going where no black man has gone before. Season 3. It's just, that's really funny, but, you know, it's not just enough to have him exist. You need to write for him. And the problem is, he doesn't serve a purpose in the plot. Not only that, but he doesn't have any important relationships with any characters. He doesn't have a backstory. Most people don't even know his real name is Theodore Douglas. When I was like, Theodore on Facebook, everybody was like, what? What? Who's Theodore? T-Dog. Oh my god, T-Dog died? The token black guy? Who's obvious cannon fodder? Like, they wrote him. They kept him alive till season 3. Like, why? Just to be like, oh, look, we kept the black man alive. It's like, no, it's not good enough. You don't unlock the frickin' achievement for, you know, social diversity for just keeping him alive. You have to write for him. You know, you have to round him out. Because, I mean, look at when he was introduced. He was introduced at the exact same time as Andrea. You know? Andrea. Like, Daryl. Daryl has been here for less time than T-Dog. And what the hell do we know about him? Like, what do we know about what he's good at? You know? We know absolutely nothing. He has no abilities besides being a heavyset black man. Like none at all. And like, look at, people might be like, oh, well, he's a secondary character. Oh, yeah, okay, so are Daryl and, like, Carol. Like, alright, what do we know about Daryl? Well, we know that, you know, Daryl has a brother, that Daryl was raised in the backwoods. We know that Daryl is, you know, he might be the lone wolf archetype, but he's probably that way because of the fact that he's socially awkward. He was raised, you know, not a lot of people around. You know, he's just an awkward guy with not a lot of social experience. And he was probably abused as a child, which is why he feels so strongly to search for Sophia. You know? That's a lot of stuff we know about him, and he doesn't have a lot of screen time. You look at Carol. Carol is a very passive woman, who's only recently started to become active. You know, Carol was an abused woman, a trampled on woman. She had basically 2 roles in her life, a wife and a mother, and both of those titles were ripped away from her, and now what is she left with? And now she's got to, you know, figure out who she is and make herself important, and she was trying to learn medical skills, and I was really proud of her, and that's kind of why I'm mad that she's dead. But, you know, look at those 2 characters. We know tons about them, tons. And T-Dog doesn't have any complicated relationships with any characters. His most complicated relationship was with Daryl, and that was, like, the first few episodes, and was quickly resolved as soon as they started going for the guns that Rick left near the tank. Like you watch that, and, alright, well, T-Dog is partially responsible for, with Rick, partially responsible for the death of Merle, Daryl's brother. Okay, that's a big deal. Like, he might have accidentally dropped the keys, and, you know, Rick might have been the person to chain him there in the first place. But, you know, if I was somebody who had a brother or sister that I knew was racially intolerant and wasn't exactly hush-hush about it, if, you know, somebody came to me and was like, yeah, I was hanging out with your brother, and they locked him up, and I dropped the keys, and whoopsie-daisy, I'd be like, yeah, no, you didn't. No, come on, tell me the truth, you did not do that. You killed them, I don't believe you. Like, who would believe that? But it's, the thing was, when they go to the part where they're on the highway and, you know, the horde comes in, Daryl saves T-Dog. So it's like, okay, conflict over. Like, it's so sad. He's been there for 3 seasons. We know absolutely nothing about him. Like I went back to write it. Like, I didn't even notice that he was there for that long. Like, I went back and rewatched the entire season in embarrassingly short amount of time. But I went back and watched it, and I realized that T-Dog's been there since Andrea. And I was, like, keeping an eye on him, and I realized that all of his dialogue is just, like, stating things that are physically happening. Like, none of them have anything to do with him. Like, he's always the guy that says, oh no, the zombies are coming from the window. Like, that's always his lines. Like, he's always got, like, those state the obvious thing that's physically going on lines. All of his lines are always very interchangeable with all other characters. And while every other character in camp, or wherever they are, has, usually has at least a kind of complex relationship, or at least an established relationship with every other person on camp, except T-Dog. Nobody gets close to him. He doesn't have, like, a best friend. Like, he didn't bond with anybody. Like, you have sort of odd relationships of, Glenn and Maggie are in love, and Glenn and Lori are kind of friends, and can kind of talk to each other, and, like, what does T-Dog have? Like Daryl and Carol, you got kind of, like, a weird, either pseudo-parenty, maybe love interest, I don't know. Like, they got something. They got a bond. T-Dog doesn't have any bonds. Like, and it doesn't make sense because T-Dog's character, or at least the way his actor plays him, is that he's just, a regular dude. He's not, it's not like he's shy. It's not like he's supposed to be a quiet guy. He doesn't seem like a quiet guy. He's not played as a quiet guy. When he talks, he seems pretty charismatic. If you're charismatic, you should have friends and bonds. He doesn't have any of these things. And at the very start of the episode, I was very proud of him because I had just written that essay. So I was hyper aware of what T-Dog was doing. And I was very proud when he picked up, when, he had an opinion on the cells, prison men. And he was like, hey, I think we should just let them in our group. And I actually agreed with him because I don't like when they do things like what they did to Randall, where you take a person who will probably easily go to your side. I mean, you'd have to split rations, which sucks. And I know you can't let everybody in, but you're kind of casting someone out, but you're not casting them out right away. You're sort of keeping them around, and that just makes them hostile towards you, which causes problems. Like, I'm pretty certain, like, that guy you left on the roof just fucked everything up. Like, he was in the room, so I'm blaming him. Probably was him. I know they keep saying, oh, part of the wall's down. I'm getting off topic. This is about T-Dog. This is about how I'm pissed about T-Dog. Because I wanted T-Dog to become a character. And he didn't. AMC let me down. Here's a little, writing 101 for you. Okay, when you have a story, you write a plot. And to make that plot work, you need characters. So, you give them character traits. You say, okay, well, I need you to kind of be more reserved, and you need to be, charismatic, and, for what would make your plot make the most sense. And then you decide, I think your narrative would be better if you were a black person. Like, you don't start off like, this is what I'm writing for a black person. Like, no, you need to first figure out what their point in the plot is, because then you wind up with characters like TJ, T-Dog. How many times have I called him TJ? Okay. Then you wind up Theodore. Then you wind up with characters like Theodore, where they have this thing going on in the plot, but they're just there, like they have nothing to do with it. And like my normal prescription would be, well, just kill them off. But he's the only black guy. It's kind of weird, like in a populated city like that. And oh my god, I just remembered something that pissed me off so bad. I was calling this with my friends. I was like, watch, they're gonna take that token black guy from the prison group, and he's gonna go into the group just as they kick T-Dog out. Watch that happen. Sure enough, disposable black man number 1 has left the party. Disposable black man number 2 has joined the party. And I'm like, fuck you, AMC. That's fucking lazy. That's lazy as hell. That's lazy as killing off an important character off screen, like Carol, that pissed me off. If she's really dead, I'm gonna have to make like another video of pissdom, because you know they're never gonna talk about it again. Because you know the whole like morning of Carol will literally be like Daryl picking up her little headscarf and being like, well, that sucks, and just like that's gonna be the end of it. That's gonna be like this entire character arc ended off screen is almost as depressing as you killing off the token black guy that you kept around for a ridiculous amount of episodes but never developed. Never even gave a concrete personality, a persistent character trait. We don't know anything about him. He could be anyone. Like, I don't... Like, is he married? Does he have kids? Is he a machinist? Can he cook? Does he tame fucking unicorn? He could be gay. We don't know anything about him. Like, why didn't he form a relationship with anyone? I'll tell you why. Because assholes is like, oh, well, it's enough to have a black man. Where's my award for fucking racial qualities? Fuck. It's not enough to just have him there. You need to write for him. And now he's gone. And I was just sad. I'm just sad. Because I saw so much potential. And then that little moment of which he has something to actually say, I was like, yeah, T-Dog. Yeah, state opinions. And he's just gone. And I was like, no, T-Dog, no. All that could have been. I don't know. I guess this is over and out.